My Gavan and Meloline, and well met indeed. I'm Arakir Galadirthan, and welcome back to the Woodland realm as we continue on in great strides of success and glory. Our campaign now turns us north towards the forces of Gundabad, because we've defeated Dol Guldur, and I absolutely clickbaited you as much as I could last time, and I'm terribly sorry, but I was pleased to see the comments that thought that. But yes, of course, no one actually died last time. It was instead alluring to the fall of Dol Guldur. I thought I was almost genius level master deception there, but of course, it was nothing. You've got to have fun where you can, can't you? You've got to be able to laugh at yourself first and foremost. So Dor Norhak fell, and with it Dol Guldur. We've got our two generals now just building towers, preparing us in the south for war with Mordor. Dor Norhak, I cheated to upgrade, which many people disagreed with. Many people have come forth to say, Gallo, I really disagree with the way you cheat move things around. And that's fine. That is your opinion. It makes me like you no less, no greater. I still hold great admiration and respect for you all, regardless of whether or not you disagree with me or not. But it is Gundabad that now draws our focus, and we will have to put a little stopgap in our war against Mordor to fight Gundabad. Although we should try and amp up the pressure on Mordor, because I'd really like to save Gondor. Defeating Mordor is one thing, but actually ensuring Gondor survives is entirely another. And unfortunately, the Ardenaim in this one have not declared war against Mordor yet. They might do, but they haven't done it yet. We don't really make enough money to facilitate the training of a further army, but something that we are going to do straight off the bat is attack at Silverhall. I was well aware it was sieged, but in my mind, I didn't say it verbally last time, but in my head I thought, oh, we'll save that battle for the start of the next episode. Because, of course, King Thranduil the Mighty hovers nearby, ready to enact vengeance upon the Snow Orcs. They've got an awful lot of forces, and our army is not strong up here. And equally, or worse rather, not only is our army up here not very strong, but we don't have the infrastructure in the north to train the troops that we need. So that's a bit of a bummer. But we can try and get the barracks lines and things up if we don't build anything else for a while. What are you building, Tholen? You're building, an archery range and a guard barracks and a stables. Well, don't bother with your stables. We can take some troops from Tholen then. Torfilin's probably going to fall, though, to be honest. Two generals versus that? Oh, no, he's maybe got it. Maybe he's got it. He's maybe got it. We also need to work out what can we trade for the Anduin to... Oh, we're going to give them Silverhall, aren't we? Yes, so the Anduin will get Silverhall, and they'll give us Akhnodiorn, and then Dale will get Dane's Halls, and they'll give us Dol Guldur, I have no doubt. And then we can turn our attention southward. But for now, let's attack Captain Gorthak and give him a piece of our minds. King Thranduil, Captain Lokian. What have you got, Gorthak? You've got some snow trolls, interestingly. Some Black Shield Warriors, Mountain Orc Hunters, Snow Orc Spears. It's a pathetic army, and it will fall easily. But we will need to hit those trolls. But luckily, we've got Legolas with us. The Troll Hammerer himself, to coin a Warhammer term. Who needs a Troll Hammer Torpedo when you've got Silverthorn arrows? You know, in the past few days when I've been installing Battle for Middle-earth and getting all the patches and making them work and whatnot, because it takes a little bit of fiddling around in Windows 10, as I've since learnt, and I just used the discs, because I do have a disk drive. I saw many people say, oh, I don't have a disk drive anymore in the comments on when I was talking about Battle for Middle-earth, and I also do not have a disk drive built into the PC. But in this modern age, you can purchase a USB disk drive, and indeed that is exactly what I did, and it cost about £15, which is a very, very low cost. So if you have a huge collection of CDs, of discs, CD-ROMs for your computer games, but you don't have a disk drive anymore, because who does in the modern... If you're building a computer now, who puts a CD drive in it? Then worry not, you can just buy a detachable one, and that's exactly what I did. And I use it to... I use it for two things. Number one is installing those few games that we've already mentioned, Battle for Middle-earth and Lord of the Rings Conquest. And number two is using it and then some additional software to digitize some films that I still have and TV shows that aren't available on the various different streaming services. So there's some software that I downloaded a while ago, and it's all free, and it just basically burns the CDs as into video files. Which, obviously, for personal use, I don't think is an issue. I mean, it might be, but no one's going to come and knock on my door about that, are they? I don't distribute them. I then just put them on a hard drive, and then Jessica and I watch them if we can't find them on streaming services. But that said, I'm lazy. I'm lazy with simple tasks, and if I can pay even just a minor amount of money to do a thing, I will pay that minor amount of money, much to my parents' chagrin. My mother and father try not to pay for anything ever, and they think the spending of money is almost a capital crime. Like that, no one should spend money. Money is for hoarding in case something bad happens. Despite the fact that my parents are quite wealthy, to be honest, they just never spend money, and it always baffles me. Because if I can pay a professional to do a thing, I'm going to pay a professional to do a thing. Right, I've set us up over here because I hate forests, as you know. I never fight in forests. I think they're a huge negative in Medieval 2. They work nicely in later games. They're terrible in this game, and unfortunately, that's where the hill is. And I think the enemy will probably actually pull back now that I've just thought about it a bit more. So we are going to have to walk towards them, and they are almost certainly going to stand up there. So actually, we should probably take the hill and move over to... No, balls to it. If there's even the slightest chance they're going to walk towards us, then we'll start down here. There they are. Living up to my expectations immediately. So the reason I'm saying about the money thing is because in my cupboard down here, which you can't see, I have every Scrubs episode ever. And I put them down there rather than in the attic where the rest of my DVDs are, because I fully intended on converting them to digital as well, so that we could watch Scrubs every now and then, and not because it's not available on streaming services. And then I had a look on Amazon Prime or an Amazon Video rather, sorry, and you can just buy the digital copies of Scrubs. They are £5 per season. And given that it takes hours, and I mean absolute hours, to burn the DVDs, and there are 4 DVDs per season for Scrubs because it's so old, I took the opinion that buying them was simply the better choice. I value my time more than I value money, and I like to do with my time whatever I want to do with my time. Look at the buggers, they are running to that hill. Right, so we're elves, let's just sprint over here for now. Oh, we've got our reinforcements coming in. Oh, guys, you are not going to be any use at all. All you're going to do is die. Where are you from, anyway? Oh, you're the garrison, of course. Yeah, you guys just stay over there and don't worry about it. We've got this. We've got this. Right, as long as we don't actually fight in the forest, then I'm happy. I don't mind. Archers, ready your horses! An awful lot of the voice lines as we now move towards playing Battle for Middle-earth, and indeed, you've probably actually already seen the first episode of Battle for Middle-earth, because while I sit here recording this, I'm thinking, oh, I should record Battle for Middle-earth after this, and then I can upload it today as well. And by today, of course, I mean yesterday. So for all of you, you've probably seen the first episode of Battle for Middle-earth, but get the voices that are used in DaC you are about to get very familiar with, because almost all of them come from the various Battle for Middle-earth games. So when we play with the elves in Battle for Middle-earth 2, you will appreciate and you'll recognise a lot of the voice lines. Right, Legolas, if you would, hit the snow trolls. I know that's not actually the best use for you, but in fact I would like everybody to hit the snow trolls. In line, archers! We've got men of Lothlorien with us today. Or elves of Lothlorien, sorry. We've got some javelin folks, traditionally very useful against trolls, but we haven't got enough to make them actually all that worthwhile. 12 of them still stand. They are just tanking volley after volley after volley after volley. Come on, kill at least 3 or 4 of them before they get here. Come on, archers! Look at this point blank range fire. So many arrows flying in here. And they are just not going down. Oh, and they've moved past. Bugger. The cavalry's moving back. Right, archers, deal with the rest of the army. There are only 7 of them. We killed almost half the snow trolls before battle was joined. Pull away, pull away, pull away, pull away, pull away, pull away, pull away. Abandon that unit of archers. We use them as sacrificial lambs.
The battle is very much in our favour.
As soon as you're in position, feel free to fire at will again. A cavalry, I mean, I'm basically just killing them off, aren't I? I should do something more with them. Annoyingly, though, your units just will not shoot at your own units. It's ingrained in them, and by that I mean it's hard-coded in the game. I don't know. I've never tinkered with the game's actual AI behavior. It's something it's completely alien to me, and I don't know if it's possible to overwrite the game's desire to not shoot its own men. But I would love for you, I mean, as much as my heart fills with sorrow as these elves go off to their death, I would much rather you target those snow trolls and kill some of our own elves. They're only going to go to the halls of Mandos, knock around for a couple of weeks, and then they're going to be living in Valinor. So it's almost like a shortcut. We're not killing them. We're transporting them to Valinor free of charge, without the tedious and arduous ship sailing. And many of them might get nauseous on the sea. They might get seasick. I mean, we don't know, do we? So it's best, I think, for all involved, if the elves just were to die here, and then they just kind of pop over to Valinor, you know, their souls migrate over, none of the seasickness, none of the boring waiting in line at the port in Mithlond. You know, they've got to show papers after all, passports sort of thing. They don't just let any elf in. I'm sure there's border control when they get to Valinor as well. They've got to decide, are you going for Mandos, or are you just here for a visit? Like, what's the situation? These are all questions that the diligent government of Valinor must ask itself. So elves aren't just let in willy-nilly. It's not an open door when you arrive. However, if your soul is sent to Valinor, then it just glides right past all of that bureaucracy. It's like visiting a country when you're the president of another country. They do away with all of the boring and arduous admin. So in many ways, what I'm saying here is we're doing them a favour. Like, we're speeding up the journey. There's nothing to worry about.
The battle is very much in our favour. Victory will be ours.
The battle is very much in our favour, but could we please shoot that unit that's standing right in front of you and is killing all of our infantry?
Pursue and run them down.
Kill as many as you can. Yeah, we desperately need melee forces now for this army. We can't offer up our archers one at a time to die off. 96%. We lost 15% of our army, including most of our cavalry, but that's okay. Exit the battle. 157, 1,013. Oh, we killed basically all of his. And who took the top? Legolas at 157, no surprises there. Woodland spearmen and woodland warriors, nothing at all. That's because we kept them back purposefully to stay alive in the background. Baruch Khazad, I'm anew. Axes of the dwarves are upon you. I'd be really interested in hearing an actual dwarf pronounce that. Is it pronounced menu, like manure, but with a speech impediment, or is it pronounced just menu? And I don't know, was menu not a commonly used word in Tolkien's time? No, we've had the word menu for years, haven't we? French, isn't it, the word menu? Which means likely that it came over with William himself, so it's probably been around for at least 1,000 years in the English lexicon, is my completely uneducated guess. Well, no, I mean, it's partially educated. The Normans brought the French, of course. And then that mixing with the existing Anglo-Saxon eventually becomes English. That's a very dumbed-down approach to the language, but in essence. Right, you guys are heading up there. You'll get there in time. Torfilin, I think you're going to fall? No, I think you might be all right. I don't think we now have enough to take Dane's Halls, but we definitely have enough to do the first swap and give Silver Hall over to the Anduin. So I will give you Silver Hall, and you will give me Aknodiorn. What are the chances that they're going to say no? Oh yeah. Oh come on. Map information. Oh.
How could we honor and
we've buttered them up so much, and I've got 4 General's Bodyguard units out of that. That's not bad, is it? Nice. I suppose it is a village for a village at the end of the day. Ah, but theirs has none of their culture. Oh, and we didn't capitalise on it by cheesing it and selling all the buildings. Oh, I do dislike it when I do that. I think we should spend a brief moment mopping up some of these forces that are moving through our forests before we worry about trying to hit Dane's Halls, because I don't think that army will take Dane's Halls. So if we try and head them south to link up with that force for now, and just monitor, because if Torfilin does fall, we'll need to take that back pretty straight away, pretty much immediately. You guys are just wasted sitting in Aknodiorn. In fact, you are utterly wasted sitting in Aknodiorn. Yeah.
Yes, my lord. 'Tis good to see you, my
What
friend.
will
How can we-
Dale do to give us Dol Guldur? Map info?
No, we cannot agree. Good day to you.
That was only a just rejected though, so I think swapping Dane's halls for Dol Guldur will definitely work. So let's end the turn, see what happens with Gundabad in the north. I think it's gonna work. I think it'll work in our favour. We'll get Dol Guldur, we'll rename it Hamunlank, the Bald Hill or the Naked Hill, and then we shall be about our business. Amon rather, means hill, and Emun, E-M-Y-N, means hills. As seen in the Emun Arnen, which are down in Gondor, in Ithilien, and means hills by the water. Quite literally, because Nen means water. This is the same word you see in Nen Hithoil, the lake that borders, it's just behind the Falls of Rauros. And Arnen, in this instance, means by the water, next to the water. It could also mean king's water, of course, because Ar is the king prefix in Sindarin, and Nen is Sindarin. And this is the same that you see in Arnor, which means king's land, of course. Limhir has upgraded to a city. Glorious. And Dor Norhak has repaired its castle walls. Well done. Is that something we can't use? Yes! 500 gold coins in the bank, son. Your money is well received.
Come on!
It's odd having Toar Rhaenio without the general's bodyguard, and I find it most bizarre that the game is even able to do that. But it is, and it has worked. Ah, Torfalin did not get attacked, so if we just hit this fellow, Dan Muzz, in a field battle, although that's going to have to wait.
Scout the area. Stay alert.
Do you guys think you could take him? I'm so on the fence. If we can skirmish, we could probably do it. If we can get them to assault us, actually, I think that we could do it. Are you training any troops for me? No, because you can't. Hello, Dale. How are you doing? Why are you wandering through my lands? Ah, Thranduil's horse is building with our money that we got. That's good, that's good, that's good. Alright, Haldir, continue with the plan. Oh, no one has Dagorlad. Oh, a little raid on Dagorlad would not come amiss. Yes. Why don't Castian, you go down to the Black Gate. Spies always take so long to move. I don't know what that is. Hopefully that's fixed if they do a Med 2 remastered. But they always bug out when they move and they're jittery and slow. Oh, there's basically no one there. Have we got any cavalry? Because it's a village, isn't it? Oh, bugger, it's a castle. By the time we can actually get in and hit them, then it'll be all over. Unless we send something so small and pathetic that they think they'll know there's no way they're going to lose.
Elves. Elven warriors, swiftly.
Cavalry.
Be vigilant.
2 cavalry units against a spear unit. I think that will tease them into attacking us. And let's get the war with Mordor set. Let's get them starting to think about their northern border. We can't save Gondor fully yet, but we can start distracting Mordor, and that is certainly going to be of use to us. Ah, this place isn't turning to our culture at all. Taking forever and a day. But we've taken Aknodiorn. I'm afraid I don't know what Aknodiorn means. I'm not sure if it even is Sindarian. That one is an original name, I think. By original, I mean the Third Age Total War team named it. So I don't know what it means. But I think all we can do then is end the turn. Queues have been stalled. Always the way, always the way. Oh, I never renamed Dunedain to just Dunedain. We talked about it and added it to the list, but it's just the most simple change imaginable, and I never did it before I left. But the work towards the reunited kingdom continues well, as far as I understand. And the reunited kingdom will... Oh, that reminds me, actually. There will not be a faction vote for the next faction, because work is coming in as completely serendipitously, and I honestly did not plan this. I find it hilarious. The Ardenayim, there are talks that their visuals might be changed up quite significantly, such that their campaign will feel very different. So even though I would love to play as them next anyway, it seems like there is purpose to play as them next, because they're getting new visuals. Possibly. That's not confirmed yet. It's in discussion, but it seems likely. And if that is the case, then I'll absolutely play as them. And then hopefully, by the time the Wood Elves and then the Ardenayim finish up, we can finally play as the reunited kingdom. And I look forward to that.
We must act and halt this turn.
Oh, no, yeah, this is definitely going to be a win, I think. We've got the towers defending us. And I'm going to put you on the walls for now so that you can shoot out and hit the enemy. As wide as you can go. No, they go wider by clicking. There you go, that'll do. Alright, start the battle. Hit the scouts, because they don't have shields, I don't think. Right, the minute they get near the wall, run down. Come on.
The enemy have ladders at the wall.
Come on.
Repel the attackers. Give them steel.
Alright, one of you is going to stand there. Are you the actual general? Yeah, you are, because you've got the gold. And you are going to stand side on.
Curses!
Like
The
that.
enemy are battering down our gates.
Feel free to start shooting at things.
Blast their eyes! The enemy's ram is through our gates. The walls are no longer ours. The
Right.
enemy have taken them.
Don't worry about the guys on the walls. Come on. Come on, some of you aren't shooting. Shoot, you stupid fools.
The enemy are badly bloodied. Good tidings. The enemy general.
Enemy
lies
general's
dead.
gone. Our general's fighting on quite nicely. Right, you can target them now, because they're in the way now, aren't they? Enemy general fallen, building lost, that's no problem. The towers are still firing because we're near enough.
The battle seems to be swinging in our favor. From such tidings does victory emerge.
Yes. Well done, all involved. You put your life on the line there, sir, and you have proven your worth 3 or 4 times over. Just got to wait for the scouts to realise that this is futile. They'll bugger off, and the day is ours. 24 brave souls fell in defence of Fortifying. 86 killed, 45. Fantastic work. Sometimes I sit here and I wonder, Gallo, actually, are you quite good at this game? All the times that you bang on about being rubbish at this game, I think over the years, having played this non-stop now for, what, 5 years, 6 years? My YouTube channel, I think, started in 2015, so I've been playing DaC for some time. And in all that time, I think it's probably likely that you've gained at least some knowledge of how to play the game, even if you don't actively think about what you're doing. I think what I generally am doing often is the right thing. Of course, I constantly make mistakes, but I think overall my game is not actually that bad, and I think I do all right. Also, something I've not mentioned at all, and probably could and now should, is of course that when we last played the Woodland Realm, I got annihilated. And this time, through shrewd diplomacy and strength given to my allies, I formed a triple entente against Dol Guldur, which served only to save us. And we've succeeded against Dol Guldur quite nicely. And not necessarily through our own skill, but through the combination of mine, Anduin, and Dale's might. And whilst, of course, Dale and the Anduin did a lot of the military heavy lifting, without my bringing them into the war, by taking Brown Boat, by taking Dol, I can never remember what that one's called, Bur Alj, by taking those 2 provinces and then giving them to Dale, it brought Dale into the war, and then that has obviously ended in Dol Guldur's demise. And I think that's the major change from my previous plays of this, is this time I used my allies to help me, rather than to just be around. No, just go and get near for now.
Be vigilant.
Can you hit that in the next turn? Ah, well, we'll find out on the next turn, I suppose, won't we? Do we have movement through... Yes, we have military access with Dorwinian. Fantastic news. It's all coming up rather nicely.
Come, my brothers.
Graelyn Vales has fallen back into the hands of Gundabad. And Torfilin can now finish its training, so it will at least have a few more units. And I tell you what, we do not need 2 generals there, really. So Hirgon, why don't you go to Emin Nufuin and become the governor over there instead? Hello, Callie. How's your morning going? She's got a new bell, and I don't think she likes it very much, because it jingles more than her last bell did. I'll tell you what, I'll train 2 of you, and we'll send Hirgon down there, because he'll be free upkeep down there. And then I'm going to take your entire roster north with me, because we desperately need troops. So we'll train those as garrison forces. You're going to move in. Up in Torfilin. Can you get another hall of music? Yes, please try and get that up. If you're going to be the front line, we need free upkeep. Graylin Vales fell, didn't it? Oh, that worked out nicely. It pulled some of their forces back. Yes. We can continue to use this as a little anvil to draw their attention, so they stop wandering off into other places. But they're giving the dwarves a good going over, even though Anazanar is still held. One wonders if they're wasting themselves against Anazanar, but the dwarves could do with getting involved there a bit more. Much more, to be honest. And the Dornorhak army, one wonders if moving that out is the right thing to do. Oh, yeah, look at that. Moranon's got no one there. Some Loki Nasrim and birds. Burrs. Oh, and there they are. It begins. The great beasts come. I don't really intend on holding Gellerbrin, though, to be honest. I was thinking of taking it, sacking it, destroying every building, using the money to our advantage, and letting it just fall back into their hands, forcing Mordor's hand to come up and move. Similarly with Morannon, really. It's just a shame you can't destroy places. I moan non-stop about raiding in Warhammer 2, and yet I would love to be able to burn provinces to the ground in Medieval 2. See, things like that will not come if they make a remaster. There will not be changes to the core gameplay, as I've said before. You will not be able to raise things to the ground, sadly. Raising, though, I'm sort of ambivalent towards it, really. It's so useful as a player, but it's so annoying as the AI. The AI raids everything. They burn everything to the ground. It's so frustrating. And in a single turn, 20 turns worth of infrastructure management goes up in smoke, and it's so annoying. And the reason why I think it's annoying is because the game does not give you a good opportunity to defend those poor settlements. The game, as standard in Warhammer 2, minor settlements don't have walls, so straight away you're at a disadvantage, even if you've taken a nicely walled settlement. Like in Med 2, if you take somewhere like Limhir, for example. Limhir is currently a city. Limhir has a pathetic garrison, but that garrison is at least bolstered by the fact that they've got large walls and the towers will fight back. That's as standard. But that doesn't happen in Warhammer 2, so you're constantly having to put armies in minor settlements. But worse than that is you constantly have to build. You only get 3 building slots, and it's often that you always need to use at least one to supplement the garrison, because you need garrisons everywhere, and it's very frustrating. But anyway, enough of that. They didn't attack us at Silverhall, so we can push on them. No one is going to support them, so I will do that, and we'll use our archer supremacy. You guys are heading over to supplement that army, and why don't you go to New Fuin then, and Veheron, you go to Erin Dolan. I didn't realise that Enethau had 3 generals sitting in it doing sod all. So we'll jivvy them out and spread them out amongst the towns to make a bit more money. New Fuin, I'm assuming one of your people is now not free? Yes, so go and get involved as well. And we'll leave just the general there. You, however, get plenty of free upkeep. And our money's still coming quite nicely. Barracks coming up in Thranduil's halls. Don't bother with the stables, actually. We'll build the stables once everything else is ready. Because we don't really need cavalry all that much. Ah, my diplomat in the south.
Your orders.
Is there something I can do for you? No, we will not accept such a thing. Understand?
I could do that, to be honest, and then just cancel the payments. Oh, and there's Dol Amroth. Oh, we'll talk to them on the next one. Right. Now, with any luck, as I say, the garrison will think it's strong enough to beat you and will just rise up. But if they don't, you're never going to take that town because you can't man siege equipment. So it's a bit of a gamble, but it's better than you just sitting in the city doing nothing, isn't it?
Come, my brothers. Scout the area. We will need that one.
There we are, nice. Do I need to keep you in a Drykarn? I don't think so. Drykarn can get so much stuff. Galadrim Swordsman, Galadrim Guards, Elven King's Axe Guard, Elven King's Gate Guard. In fact, I think you now have the highest tier barracks and range, don't you? Yes, you do. So, we could get a catapult maker in. What does the catapult maker require? A leather worker, interestingly. Why does the garrison hall not appear properly? I've not put the right term in. A leather tanner, there we are. Yeah, that's the best thing to go for next. I would say a builder's guild house, but we've basically built everything, so it's not really necessary. But it does reduce the costs, but it costs 4,000. Oh, you won't need that military garrison now, actually, now that I think about it. Because you're not going to be on the front line anymore. You were, but you aren't now. And Herion, if we leave you behind to be the governor of Dor Norhak when Haldir eventually moves the army out, but we've got to continue dealing with Gundabad for now. And that begins with the fall of Silver Hall, which is not going to happen in this episode. I instead am going to quickly toggle Fog of War and have a look at the rest of the world. Now, I can no longer hide behind the pretense that I'm doing this for modding information. And to be honest, I just really want to know what's happening because I just find it really interesting. So Erebor is not actually doing very well in the east at all, and neither is Dale. So it looks like by bringing Dale into the war with Dol Guldur, they have hugely neglected the eastern bounds, and Rune are growing very powerful indeed. Dorwinion, though, is still holding. They've got all of Dorwinion still, the 3 core provinces and Mornathel. Vilta's fallen to Rune, though. They're cutting up the centre there. But Dorwinion are not involved, if memory serves, in the wars with Mordor. No, they're not. So Dorwinions, all their attention is on Rune at the moment. Similarly, Dale now has no enemies bar Rune. So actually, they probably won't want Dane's halls. I don't want to look at Gundabad, actually. I don't want to go and look at Gundabad. I don't want to cheese that bit too much. Mordor, as we already knew, because we've had all the messages pop up, have taken basically all of Eastern Gondor. But you will note that there is almost no military around here for some time, because they're not yet at the mass stack powerhouse that they are going to become. So I think we've hit them just in time, to be honest. But we need to now put more pressure on. The army from Dor Norhak's going to have to move out if we are to save Gondor before they really do go down. Dol Amroth has lost Lyn here, but Dol Amroth never usually loses Dol Amroth. They don't tend to die out entirely. Isengard, fortunately, is losing, so Rohan are doing really quite nicely on that side, and Rohan and Mordor have not yet thrown down either. Mordor, in fact, aren't even yet at war with Rohan. That's fantastic. So Rohan can deal with Isengard, but then who knows what Enedwaith will do thereafter. Over on the other side of the world, though, Dunland have crossed the Gwathlo and have taken much of southern Bree's holdings. Cor Willishar, Caras Nernaled, Matraith. They're taking it all down. The Shire is still held by Bree as we speak, as Bree is still held by Bree, but Angmar are knocking quite literally on the doors of Bree with an army right outside the gates. Dear oh dear. The Northern Dunedain have lost their holdings in the east, save for Fenestruinen, but Fenestruinen rarely ever falls. But they have expanded a little over here. They've got Bari Donionak and Oskelom, so they've gained some strength. But I think the dwarves who did not take the rings this time, the dwarves have remained allied to the forces of good. They're not allied to Bree, though, interestingly, nor... oh, no, there's the High Elves at the back. And they're at war with all 3 of the northern enemies, including, for some reason, the Ardenaim. Oh, dear. Enedwaith is steaming into the north. What is Enedwaith up to? High Elves, you must be at war with them by now. Yes, so the clans of Enedwaith are allied to Dunland and Isengard. Ah, bugger. So they've gone evil. Enedwaith has gone evil. They are attacking Gondor in the west, although not with great strength or fervour. And they are attacking in the north as well.
I am a warrior.
I am a warrior, sir, not a diplomat. But then this is the new iteration of Enedwaith, you see, and that's probably why they're doing so well, because their new forces are actually quite powerful and quite readily available. So hopefully Enedwaith will be tinkered with and reduced in strength. Something, again, that I popped on the to-do list before I left, but didn't get around to doing. And I didn't get around to doing basically anything when I left. Harad, interestingly, have got Kisilcum, but Mordor have smashed Khand right into next week. Khand are fighting against them, kicking back, but Ankantar, is fighting on as the Inquisitor there. The Blue Wizards have brought about the destruction of Khand, sadly. But Khand are allied to Gondor and Dol Amroth, and they are enemies with Harad and Mordor. So if we can get in and hit Mordor now and give them a third enemy that is quite powerful, then I think we can do what needs to be done. Now, obviously next week normally would be then whatever other campaign comes next, but given that I probably will wait to see what's happening with the Ardenaim, and then if they are going to be revamped, I'll play them, and if they're not, then I'll play something else. Next week, I will continue with the Wood Elves, or I will just give a bit more attention to Battle for Middle-earth, and then we'll start the next campaign the week after that, whenever the Ardenaim are ready. So I won't do a vote, as I've already mentioned, but I'll say again, I'm not going to do a vote because the Ardenaim are likely to get new models, and I'd like to play as them. But for now, that's going to conclude. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching along. I have thoroughly enjoyed today's episode, as I always often do with these videos nowadays. I'm just really enjoying playing Total War games. Having a blast. But I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful couple of days. And if the Battle of Middle-earth video did already go up, I do hope you enjoyed it. But until we speak again, Navair Naden Penamad Melonin, and farewell.